Here we are on a beautiful spring Monday. Ike, how you feeling, brother?
Hey, man.
What?
Get Hugh Douglas out of here,
Oh,
man.
dude, we can't get him out of here.
Seriously.
Yeah. Guy's doing a show during the commercial break right here.
Brother Spike?
Yes.
It's been a good weekend. We're back to Monday. Short weekend. I tell you, it was over with pretty fast. Ready to dive in to the newest members of the Midnight Green family. Phillies managed to win a series out there in the Windy City. Jackie Baseball. Don't rush it. But we're almost back. We're almost back. Holla at your boy.
We sure are, pal. That was a big weekend. I treated yesterday damn near like a playoff game.
Yeah. It's been a real roller coaster for you this season with the Phils. Real roller coaster. Big show, as always. Mike Mayock joins us at 4 o'clock to go over the draft, our draft expert. We sent Elliot Shore-Parks to Washington, D.C. as the Eagles are visiting the White House, so we have our own embedded reporter in D.C. Elliot
Most of the Eagles are visiting the White House.
Yes, some of the Eagles are visiting the White House, but Elliot is for sure there.
He's there.
He's there reporting. So we'll have Elliot joining us at 3. Oh, boy, it is a big show. Now, you mentioned we have a bunch of new members, or at least temporary members of the Philadelphia Eagles, as the Eagles took 10 players over the weekend. You know, walking away from it, we talked a little bit on YouTube, on our YouTube show on Friday about Jahad Campbell. Walking away from it, Ike, what was like your big takeaway from the Eagles draft this year?
Well, here's the thing I love that they did. They stayed heavy on the defensive side of the ball. Listen, they added some offensive depth with some guys late in the draft, backup quarterback, offensive lineman, fine with that. But it seemed like, you know, we thought the defensive side of the ball, the number one ranked defense this past year to the defending Super Bowl champions, was hit pretty hard when you talk about the amount of talent that left. And so they have to replace that. And you're not going to hit on every player that you may have in there initially to replace that talent that left. So you got to give yourself more of an opportunity with more guys to potentially fill those roles. And so you have a higher success rate in selecting those replacements. And that's what they did. They went for some young guys that are more cost effective. I like what they did. Obviously, you pick up Campbell late in the first round. We know about the talent prior to he falls for whatever reasons, whether it's injuries, whether he's a tweener, meaning people don't know where to necessarily fit him at as an off-the-ball linebacker or an outside rusher. I think the Eagles envision what they want to do with him, so they couldn't pass up on the talent. Mabuku out of Texas, the second-round pick.
Safety.
The safety. I'm not going to tell you I don't like the pick. I'll tell you that I'm still learning about the player. I've seen him, right? Plays at Texas. We know he played at a prominent program. They were in the playoffs. I think were they in the Final Four? I think they were in the Final Four.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm really just talking out loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know they had a very good football team. He certainly plays bigger than what his measurables say. It'd be interesting to see how much of that translates to the NFL. Is he a slot guy? Is he truly a safety? Some people think, you know, CJ wasn't that big, so he kind of fits that sort of mold. I do see a lot of similarities there.
It's a ball hawk like CJ is, seems like, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you I don't like the pick. I'll just tell you that I'm intrigued by the pick. One pick I do think that was very underrated that I think we're going to wind up liking is the kid out of Nebraska.
Ty Robinson.
Yeah.
Yes.
This kid,
defensive tackle, 24 years old.
Yeah.
From an athletic standpoint, seems like he's a great athlete.
That's what I was going to say. His athletic ability seems to be off the chart for a man that size. Put him next to Jalen Carter, Moro Jomo, like those type of guys. We'll see what he's going to be moving forward. And he's actually playing a position where he could come in and contribute in his rookie year, being a rotational guy. So we'll get into some of the other guys. I feel overall, I feel like they added some young depth, right? We'll see what these guys ultimately turn out to be, but I think they've added some young depth. And here's the best thing I love about it. most of these guys are from big programs, big-time programs. SEC, Big Ten, big conferences, played against great competition, whether it was in practice every day or in conference play every week. So I like that part about adding that to the roster.
215-592-9494. What was your biggest takeaway from the Eagles picks this weekend? I don't profess to be, of course, some draft expert.
Mel Kiper?
I'm definitely not Mel Kiper. We'll get to that later too. I'm definitely not Mel Kiper, but. And I don't even really watch college football. But from an Eagles perspective, the entire draft was just like, my biggest takeaway is that it was weird. I thought the whole draft was weird. I thought them using their first pick for an off-ball linebacker was a little weird. Definitely not what the Eagles do. The fact that they didn't take one player that they had a top 30 meeting with, not one, in the entire draft.
It's
weird.
That one is a little weird.
It's just weird, right? Yeah. They don't take an edge until the very last pick they have in the draft, and you could argue that was maybe their biggest need going into the draft. I mean, we're talking about defensive secondary and edge, and look, you can say Jahad Campbell is an edge. He's not an edge until he's an edge. He's an off-ball linebacker right now. They take a 5'10" cornerback, before an edge in the fourth round, before Swinson went. Yeah. This whole offseason has been weird to me. The way they've been talking about it has been weird to me, and the draft was weird to me. So I'm not here to say it was a bad draft. I don't know if it was a bad draft. It's almost impossible. They got A's from everybody, A's and B's from everybody. It's impossible to say whether it was a good draft or a bad draft until we see, if they play, especially somebody like me who's not an expert on any of these players. I can just tell you that from what I've seen from the Eagles in the past, compared to what they did here, it all just seems a little bit weird to me. It seems a little bit out of character, and it's strange. Now, paying a linebacker was out of character. Paying a running back was out of character. All these things that the Eagles did that was out of character seemed to work out last year, sure, right? But this draft seemed a little bit weird to me. All right, 215-592-9494. But we do have a next question today.
What you got?
Well, by the way, I also want to say, I love the quarterback pick. I like that they take Kyle McCord.
Well, one of your YouTube
number
big
2
board guys.
YouTube big board. The guy is. You can trade Tanner McKean now because we have our backup quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years.
20 draft picks next year, so I don't know if we need that.
Well, to trade him for, I don't know. You're gonna need to trade him for something at some point. But the fact that it took Kyle McCord, I was very happy with. It is Jay Leno's birthday, and before Jay Leno was a late night host, he was a stand-up comedian, a really good stand-up comedian, by the way.
Yeah.
And so for next question today, we're going to ask you your go-to stand-up, all-time stand-up.
All-time stand-up?
Jack, do you have an all-time stand-up?
I do have an all-time stand-up, but...
All-time.
But...
What?
I think this guy's going to eventually be on the Mount Rushmore of comedians.
Oh, really?
And that's Shane Gillis.
Oh, he's not going to be on the Mount
I don't care. He's my favorite comedian of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah, it's not even close.
I was going to say, what the hell? What Mount Rushmore is he on?
Yeah.
Jack's Mount Rushmore.
I've seen him twice, and then I saw him do Saturday Night Live, and it was the same act over 2 years, 3 times. I'm a little worried about him.
Shane McGillis?
Shane Gillis. You'd recognize him.
Shane Gillis?
He's
Gillis.
from Richie's hometown.
Yeah.
Richie's hometown.
Yeah, mechanics.
Shame? Like Seamus?
I feel like we're in that Step Brothers scene right now. Shane.
Pim?
Yeah, Pim. Shane Gillis.
Like Shane, S-H-A-N.
Yes, like Shane McMahon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shane Gillis. So Jack's is
Shane Gillis.
Yeah. Gillis.
Not Shane McGillis.
No, not McGillis. Just Gillis, yes.
Nailing it.
Yes.
I'm out on him.
Wow, you don't even know who
I have no idea who it is.
Okay, all right.
I have no idea. I'm going Bernie Mac.
All time?
Yeah.
Number 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he's a GOAT.
He's probably not the most mainstream or popular guy. You can go with some other guys.
He's legendary,
but as far
for
as
sure.
Me,
yes.
my guy?
Yes.
Number 1, Bernie Mac, baby.
My number 1 all time was Norm Macdonald. And I love Norm. Norm may be most famous for the Saturday Night Live Weekend Update.
Oh, yeah, the OJ?
Dirty Work, of course. But Norm Macdonald is a stand-up.
Fired for?
I was a... What's that?
He got fired for all the OJ stuff.
He did. Yeah, and then they brought him back to host, like they did with Shane Gillis, by the way. Fired him, and then I got to see Norm Macdonald once at Helium. He ended his set with a 20-minute joke with no punchline. Everybody was just staring, and I was dying laughing the entire time.
As a kid, right, growing up, people would tell me about Norm Macdonald, like hilarious.
The best.
Didn't get it.
Oh, right.
Now, as you get older, You understand Norm Macdonald?
Yes, of course. He did a final special that I think is on Netflix. But he passed away a couple years ago. But he did a final special during COVID at home in front of his computer. So the entire 70-minute special is just him talking to the screen with no audience, no anything. And it's an amazing thing. So me, Norm Macdonald. All right, 215-592-9494. Your one takeaway from the Eagles draft. Ike likes the defense. I think it's all weird.